between subjects design. So this is similar to an independent sample t-test, but now with ANOVA you can do 2 or more groups. So I'm going to do an example where we have 3 groups. This is different from a within subjects ANOVA or repeated subjects ANOVA, which would be more similar to the paired sample t-test. So again, this is Oneway ANOVA, and what we're going to look at today is the difference between 3 age groups. We're going to look at teenagers, young adults, and middle age, and see if they differ in terms of social anxiety. Okay, so let's get started. We go to Analyze, Compare Means, Oneway ANOVA. I'm going to put age group. Our 3 ages are our factors because we need to have a categorical variable as our factor or independent variable, and a continuous variable, in this case social anxiety, is our dependent variable. We do want to do post hoc tests because, as I said, instead of having only 2 groups like we did with the t-test, we now have 3 groups, and if there is a significant difference, we want to know which groups differ. So we're going to click on post hoc, Tukey, and let's see what else we want. We can do some descriptive statistics. We can also do the homogeneity of variance test and a means plot. And so click OK, and we'll get our output. Okay, so the first thing we see is our means, and this is really probably the most important thing because, again, we're looking at differences between means in the different groups. We see that teenagers have the highest mean anxiety scores of 74. Young adults are quite low at 66, and middle adults maybe have more stress, have slightly higher, they're in between at 69. Okay, our Levine's test of homogeneity of variance is a value of 1.382, and its significance is greater than 0.05, so that's good. It means we can proceed and look at our ANOVA results, having some assurance that the variances are approximately equal between groups. And we can see that here that the standard deviations are pretty similar, so our Levine's test is good. So then let's go and look at our ANOVA box. Here we see that the F value for differences in social anxiety is 2.76, and it's not quite significant. So we look for a value of p less than 0.05, but this is what we would say a trend because it's less than 0.10, but technically it's not significant, but there's some indication that there are differences between the groups. That might be worth exploring further if we had a bigger sample. Our post hoc tests are unlikely to be significant since our overall F-test was not significant, but let's take a look anyway because it was marginally significant. And what we see is the reason for this difference is the difference between group 1, teenagers, and young adults, 0.061, showing that there is a difference between those 2 groups, but there's not a difference between teenagers and middle adults, or between young adults and middle adults. Notice that I was took some creativity with these age groups since they're now saying adolescence goes up to age 24 and young adults goes up to about 45 and middle adults going later, starting at 45, going up to age 65. So those are our results, and you can see from our means plot where these differences really lie, that there's a big difference between adolescents and young adults' social anxiety scores. So how would we write this up? You do need to report your F value. This is your first degrees of freedom. Between groups is 2. Within groups is 47. So you would write F parentheses 2 comma 47 equals 2.760. P equals 0.074. I don't know if you can write in here. Let me see. No, it doesn't look like we can write in here, but we have done this in some of your other modules, so just know that when you're writing up your findings, what you need to do is report these differences, and I will put an example in the classroom.